All right, people, let's go over to Samuel. Let's see another people that before Samuel came into play. Let's just read 2 Samuel first. This is after Hannah prayed for the Lord to send her a son. And she dedicated that man to the Lord. Now, see what happens when you dedicate somebody to the Lord? They grow up in the Lord. And Hannah prayed and said, my heart is rejoiceth in the Lord. My heart is exalted in the Lord. My mouth is enlarged over my enemies because I rejoice in thy salvation. Now, you got to understand, she was being vexed by an adversary, one of her husband's other wives who made fun of her because she didn't have no kids. I got children and you ain't got no children. You know what happened to her? She couldn't have kids no more. God shut up her womb. The one who was making fun of Hannah. Her adversaries, her enemy. That's what the Lord does to your enemies. He'll shut them up. Now you're gonna say, what you gonna say? Now you ain't got no more kids. There is none holy as the Lord, but there is none beside thee. Neither is there any rock like our God. Did he say like our gods? Like our God. Talk no more so exceedingly proudly. Let not arrogancy come out of your mouth. Now think about Micah, that arrogancy. I'm going to do good. By your own mouth? I don't think so. For the Lord is a God of knowledge, and by him actions are weighed. Micah's actions were weighed. The bows of the mighty men are broken, they that stumble are girded with strength, that they were full have hired out themselves for bread, and they that were hungry ceased, so that the barren have both 7, and she that have many children is waxed feeble. Look at that prayer. She even talking about her enemy right there. Now she can't have no more kids no more. The Lord killeth and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. The Lord maketh poor and maketh rich. He bringeth low and lifteth up. Look at that, boy. There's some good rappers in the in the Bible. He raised up the poor out of the dust and lifted up the beggar from the dunghill to set them among princes and to make them inherit the throne of glory. For the pillars of the earth are the Lord's, and he hath set the world upon them. He will keep the feet of his saints, and the wicked shall be silent in darkness. For by strength shall no man prevail. The adversaries of the Lord shall be broken to what? Pieces. Out of heaven shall he thunder upon them. The Lord shall judge the ends of the earth, and he shall give strength unto his king, and exalt the horn of his anointed. And Elkanah went to Ramah to his house, and the child did minister unto the Lord before Eli the priest. Now the sons of Eli were sons of Belial. They knew not the Lord, but guess where they worked? And the priest custom with the people was that when any man offered sacrifice, the priest's servant came, which the flesh was in seething, which the flesh took up 3 teeth in his hand, and he struck it into the pan or kettle or cauldron or pot. All that the flesh took brought up to priest took for himself. So did they in Shiloh unto all the Israelites that came thither. Also before they burnt the fat, the priest servant came. Also before they burnt the fat, the priest servants came and said to the man that sacrificed, give flesh to the roast for the priest, for he would not have sodden flesh of thee, but raw. So Eli's kids, who were priests for the Lord, and that knew not the Lord, ate raw meat, which the Lord said don't eat. Meat with the blood in it. You see what happens when people don't know the Lord, and they put them in the house of the Lord? You see what happens, how the house of the Lord become defiled? Because of people in the house don't know nothing about the word of God. They're just doing it for their own lust and their own desires. And the other man said unto him, let them not fail to burn the fat presently, and then that take as much as thy soul desireth. Then he would answer him, nay, but thou shalt give it to me now, and if not, I would take it by force. Wherefore the sin of the young men was very great before the Lord, for men abhorred the offering of the Lord. Why? Because the people who were set up in the church don't know what the hell they doing. They do whatever they heart desire. I was watching a video the other day when a preacher in the house of the Lord was marrying 2 men. Everybody do what they feel. What they feel is right in their own hearts. I don't think so. Not if I had a church. I'm not going to marry you here. You better go somewhere else. But Samuel ministered before the Lord, being a child girded with a linen ephod. Moreover, his mother made him a little coat and brought it to him from year to year when she came up with her husband to offer the yearly sacrifice. And Eli blessed Elkanah and his wife and said, the Lord give thee seed of this woman for the loan which is lent to the Lord. And they went into their home. So she was blessed because of what she gave to the Lord. Did she give money to the Lord? She gave her son to the Lord. And the Lord visited Hannah so that she conceived and bare 3 sons and 2 daughters. And the child Samuel grew before the Lord. Look at, she was prophesying about herself. And if you read that prayer I just read to you. And Eli was very old and heard all that his sons did unto all Israel. Because around that time period, people were doing what they want to do. And Eli ain't do nothing about it. I guess they cost his sons. And heard all that his sons did unto all Israel, and how they lay with the women that assembled at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. I don't even want to go into that. Look around now. How many churches you heard about that happens? That the priests or the preachers or the pastors are laying with the women, or the priests are laying with the little boys. What is wrong with y'all? And thank the Lord is proud of you. You might be going to hell. You might be in that group that said, Lord, Lord. He said, depart from me. Because you're doing what your heart desire. I told you the story about the preacher that said, hey, the Lord told me, and I don't know what Lord he's talking about. I can't drink. And the Lord did say preachers don't need to be given to what? He said a preacher can't be a novice. The preacher got to be the husband of one wife. He said the Lord told him he can't drink, he can't smoke, he can't do no drugs, but he can sleep with any woman he wants. What Lord is he talking about again? It's not my Lord. My Lord didn't say that in his Bible. You can just sleep with the whole congregation if you wanted to. Your Lord must be the God of your belly and your desires. You sure you're listening to the voice of the Lord? Or you listen to the voice of strangers? Stranger danger. And he said to them, why do you such things? For I hear of your evil dealings by all this people. So you hear about it, but you ain't do nothing. Nay, my sons, for there's no good report that I hear. You make the Lord's people to transgress. What happens when you do stupid stuff in the house of the Lord? You make the people to transgress. What did he tell Jezebel that calls herself a prophetess? By all the people that go into her, commit fornication with her, and adulterous with her. What did he say in the New Testament and Revelation about that? If you don't know, look it up. If one man sin against another, the judge shall judge him. But if a man sin against the Lord, who shall entreat for him? Who will retreat for him? Notwithstanding, they hearkened not unto the voice of their father, because the Lord would slay them. And the child Samuel grew on and was in favor with both the Lord and also with men. And there came a man of God unto Eli and said unto him, Thus saith the Lord, did I plainly appear into the house of thy father when they were in Egypt, in Pharaoh's house, and did I choose him out of all the tribes of Israel to be my priest, to offer upon my altar to burn incense, and to wear ephod before me? And did I give into the house of thy father all the offerings made by fire of the children of Israel? Wherefore kick ye at my sacrifice and at my offering, which I have commanded in my habitation, and honors thy sons above me, to make yourselves fat with the chiefest of all the offerings of Israel, my people? Wherefore the Lord God of Israel saith, I said indeed that thy house and the house of thy father shall walk before me forever. But now the Lord saith, Be it far from me, for them that honor me I will honor, and they that despise me shall be lightly esteemed. Behold, the days come that I will cut off thine arm and the arm of thy father's house, that there shall not be an old man in thine house, and thou shalt see an enemy in my habitation. And all the wealth which God shall give Israel, and there shall not be an old man in thine house forever. And a man of thine whom I shall not cut off from my altar shall be to consume thine eyes, and to grieve thine heart, and all the increase of thine house shall die in the flower of their age. And there shall be a sign unto thee that shall come upon thy two sons on Hophni and Phinehas, and one day they shall die both of them. And I will raise me up a faithful priest. What's a faithful priest? What faithful mean? Let's see what faithful mean. Y'all might, I don't know what faithful mean. Faithful priest? Faithful. What faithful mean? I think everybody say it all the time. I'm so faithful, are you? Let's see what faithful really means. See if you really faithful. Because a lot of y'all say y'all faithful, and are not. I'm faithful to the Lord. Oh, really? Let's see. Loyal, conscience, accurate. Reliable. Faithfulness. Faithless. Dishonest or disloyal. Unreliable. Look, fake. To make. Fraud. Counterfeit. Shame. Artificial. A lot of y'all are fakes. Not faithful. Now we'll raise up a faithful priest. Some of y'all finna be replaced. They shall do according to that which is in mine heart. I swear I don't be knowing what the Lord gonna have me talk about when I get in here, boy. Talked about this yesterday. What he said? I will raise up a faithful priest that shall do according to that which is in mine heart and in my mind. And I will build him a sure house, and he shall walk before my anointed forever. And it shall come to pass that everyone that is left in thine house shall come and cross to him for a piece of silver and a morsel of bread, and shall say, Put me, I pray thee, into one of the priest's office, that I may eat a piece of bread. And the child Samuel ministered to the Lord before Eli, and the word of the Lord was precious in those days. There was no open vision. So he didn't give Samuel a vision. Because some of y'all visions are deluded. You're not faithful, you're fake. God said you're bellies. And it came to pass at that time when Eli was laid down in his place, and his eyes began to wax dim, that he could not see. And the lamp of God went out in the temple of the Lord, where the ark of God was, and Samuel was laid down to sleep. That the Lord called Samuel, and he's answered, Here am I. My sheep know my voice. But let's go with the word of the Lord. And he ran into Eli and said, Here am I. Because you answering the wrong person, Samuel. For thou callest me. And he said, I called not. At least Eli told the truth. Lie down again, and he went and lay down. And the Lord called yet again Samuel, and Samuel rose and went to Eli and said, Here am I, for thou didst call me. And he answered, I called not, my son, lie down again. Now Samuel did not yet know the Lord, neither was the word of the Lord yet revealed unto him. But the Lord is calling him. If you call, the Lord's going to call you. He'll call you by name. And the Lord called Samuel again the third time, and he arose and went to Eli and said, Here am I. for thou didst call me. And Eli perceived that the Lord had called the child. How did Eli know that? Because Eli is a preacher. Therefore Eli said unto Samuel, Go lie down, and it shall be, if he call thee, that thou shalt say, Speak, Lord, for thy servant heareth. So Samuel went and lay down in his place. I remember growing up, I'm going to tell this story one more time. I'm probably going to tell it again. My folks used to always say, if you hear a voice calling you and nobody around, it's the devil. Man, the Lord probably been calling me for years. Probably been calling you for years. But you listen to these old wives' tales. Y'all just don't know how the devil been working trying to distract you from him. I used to hear voices like that all the time. Houston. I ain't finna say nothing. My mom said don't answer. It's not her fault. Somebody taught it to her. He just spread it. And it's not just her other sisters. And then we started spreading it. They said the devil calling you. What? Just imagine how many of y'all ain't didn't answer the call. You probably been way further along than you are now. But it's all right. Because if he wants you, he gonna get you. And the Lord came and stood and called as the other time, Samuel, Samuel, and Samuel answered, Speak, for thy servant heareth. So next time a voice calls you, say, Speak, Lord, for thy servant heareth. And the Lord said to Samuel, Behold, I will do a thing in Israel, which both the ears of everyone that heareth it shall tingle. And that day I will perform against Eli all the things which I have spoken concerning his house. When I begin, I will also make an end. What did Hannah say in her prayer? For I have told him that I will judge his house forever for the iniquity which he knoweth, because his sons made themselves vile, and he restrained them not. So they were vile. His problem was he didn't do nothing about it. You got all these homosexuals, all kind of fornicators and adulterers in your church house, appointed in positions, and you ain't doing not a damn thing about it. And you wonder, and you think that you're going to be blessed by the Lord. I would slap you right now if I was right next to you. For the Lord. Get a hold of yourself, man. Get out of the priest's office, woman. And therefore I have sworn unto the house of Eli that the iniquity of Eli's house shall not be purged with sacrifice nor offering forever. Yeah, keep doing that lawlessness in the Lord's house. You'll be cut off forever. And Samuel lay into the morning and opened the doors of the house of the Lord. And Samuel feared to show Eli the vision. And Eli called Samuel and said, Samuel, my son. He answered, Here am I. He said, What is the thing that the Lord hath said unto thee? I pray thee, hide it not from me. God do so to thee, and more also, if thou hide anything from me, one of all the things that he has said unto you. And Samuel told him every whit, and hid nothing from him. And he said, It is the Lord, let him do what seemeth good. Now, Eli that's good right there. I like that. The Lord said it. He knew it. There's nothing he can do about it. Because the Lord said it. And Samuel grew, and the Lord was with him, and did let none of his words fall to the ground. And all Israel from Dan, sound familiar? Even until Beersheba knew that Samuel was established to be a prophet of the Lord. What we were just reading about in Judges, Dan. All kind of crazy stuff going on in Dan. And the Lord appeared again in Shiloh, for the Lord revealed himself to Samuel in Shiloh by the word of the Lord. Let me pause and I'll continue.